What if there was a way that your creativity was this never-ending spring of the wealthiest, the juiciest ideas, and that you could create these ideas anywhere, anytime? This would mean that you knew two things. Number one, what you wanted to create in this world, the big picture, and what you need to create in the next 10 minutes. And having the creativity and the momentum to take action immediately. That's what you really want, right? The conditions of this perfect creative flow is actually based on very specific brainwaves that you can control. So that is great news for you. And there's actually a way that you can train your brain to be creative in a flow and experience this flow state 10 times more often. You know, you can actually see it like you're turning on a faucet of creativity with something we're going to talk about today. But first, I want you to experience what this could feel like. So picture this. It's 5:42 a.m. on Friday, December 6th. You are putting the finishing touches on a brand new offer that launches next week. And all of a sudden, you feel stuck. You have this writer's block of how to actually communicate the transformation that this brand new offer is going to provide people. You take this sip of your whole milk latte, which I have right here, but it doesn't really comfort you in the way that it normally does. You're wondering, is it like this pre-launch week intensity catching up to me? Am I cut out for this? You start doubting your ideas, but then all of a sudden, you remember a new tool that you learned to help you get into your CEO energy, get into your creative flow. 15 minutes later, you are on your A game. Your fingers are flying across the keyboard. Your hands are even sweating a bit with like the anticipation of selling this next week. You close your laptop exactly 42 minutes later, and you feel this deep satisfaction in your heart. You know that this is some of your best work. It's 10x level work that's going to take you to the next level. You are going to quantum leap because of what you just created. And that's the picture that you want to see, isn't it? In moments like that, when you are ultra creative, time stands still. Your best ideas are just flowing onto the Google Doc. It's almost faster than you can keep up. And get this, no AI required. Your racing mind that normally is like chaos of like, am I saying the right thing? What's my messaging right? Is my content strategy right? Is my ideal client avatar right? Like all these things that you keep stressing about, it disappears. And you feel this calm focus, and most importantly, you're trusting your ideas. You know that the ideas you're creating are actually going to make a difference. And that often is the number one thing that holds us back, in this fear that what we're creating is actually not going to pay off, that it's just a waste of time. But when you are in this flow state, you're experiencing 10x living. And there's actually a name for moments like that. I read about it recently in a book called 10x is Easier Than 2x by Dan Sullivan. It is phenomenal. I highly recommend you read this book. But what he says is there's a way to experience 10x more of these moments so that you can have peak experiences, awe, self-expansion, and meaning in your life. So with that, I'd like to introduce, drum roll, hopefully you can hear that, I'm drumming right by my mic. Introducing Kairos time. This is when time stops, conditions are right, specifically for the accomplishment of crucial action, the opportune and decisive moment What's coming to mind right now is the phrase carpe diem. You seize the day, you take action because the time is right for crucial, important action. And essentially, we can look at our environment, the conditions are right, our external and our internal environment. So the external environment's right. Now, this doesn't always mean that you need a latte, the perfect sunny fall day, and a cozy blanket right here. Cozy blanket. I have all of those things near me right now. And I have a creative flow going as I record this video, but I want you to know that you don't even need all those things, although they can help for sure. What this means is that you know what you want to create in this world and you know what to create in the next 10 minutes. So another way of thinking about this term is to really go to its etymology, its root. So the root of Kairos time is actually a Greek word. And if you were living in ancient Greece 3,127 years ago, you might actually use this word when you're describing deep time, alive time. That's really what the word means at its core. And you can actually track Kairos time by things like a sunset, the moment you met your newborn, a song. Kairos time is when you lose track of time writing a sales message, or on minute number 23 of day 2 of your challenge. You're in the flow. You're creating under pressure. You're creating without this anxiety. Time really just stands still, but at the same time is flying by. Time is irrelevant. And your creativity is flowing. That's what matters. And what you want to do is actually train your brain to experience this more in your existing protocols. You actually don't have to add anything to your plate. You can do this without an instrument, without leaving your office, without moving a muscle. You can actually experience Kairos time. Dan Sullivan, here's the complete quote. Now that we know what Kairos time is, I want you to hear this again. He says, "The more you live in Kairos, the more in flow you'll be. The more peak experiences you'll have, the more awe, self-expansion, and meaning you'll experience. A few moments in Kairos will advance and transform you more than a lifetime in Chronos." So we're going to get into what is Chronos time very shortly, but I want you to read. Basically, what he's saying is you can do more in less time. Can do more in less time. We're going to come back to that concept too. So first of all, let me explain what is Chronos time. Chronos time. Think about the word chronological. It's something that you can track. It's very measurable. Each minute has 60 seconds. Every hour has 60 minutes. And the main thing about living in Chronos time is you feel each minute passing by. It's kind of like the last 9 minutes of an incline treadmill workout or stair workout, and that is not how you, the creative entrepreneur, want to feel. You do not want your content creation to feel like you're looking at that little right-hand corner of your MacBook, just noticing 303, 304, 305. You do not want that. At its core, we want to be living in Kairos time, which also, another way to say that is losing track of time, because it allows us to actually see results faster. So in today's episode, we're going to actually be going through 5 things that happen to you actually when you unlock Kairos time. So when we want to see results faster and we're living in this Kairos time, Einstein's theory of time relativity says the faster you are moving, the more time slows down. So for you, that means the faster you're moving through 10x leaps, the more time slows down, and you have more time for slow mornings, writing your next 10K offer, and hikes through the autumn leaves. Life becomes so much more fulfilling. It becomes more colorful, with more meaning. It's almost like we're biohacking our brains. It's incredible. Okay, so here are the 5 things that happen to your brain, or specifically to you, when your brain unlocks Kairos time. So, number one, you can channel your creative energy into results. So, every idea for the creative entrepreneur is a brilliant idea. I have had seasons, and I still have seasons and days like this, where I'm constantly innovating, I'm constantly problem solving, thinking of new ideas, and they come faster than I can almost keep up. But the tough thing about this is that not every moment is that opportune moment to take action on the idea. So maybe you have the idea when you're washing dishes. It's like an idea of how to tweak your messaging in this one ad so that the right person sees it at the right time, and you simply, like, your hands are wet, your toddler's screaming, you're trying to like figure out what's going on even in your kitchen, but like these ideas come out of nowhere. So this is incredible, but what you actually want to do is have those ideas when you can take action on them and channel it in one direction. So focus. Focus means following one course until success. That means having ideas that you can take action on when you need them. And channeling your creative energy using Kairos time allows you to trust the actions that you're doing are actually going to give you the results you want, because you are having those ideas when you need them. And then when you are taking action on those ideas, it's with the same energy as what you had the idea in the first place. So you know that moment when you have this aha moment, this light bulb moment, the eureka, you figured it out. There's this dopamine spike, there's this like creative spark essentially going off in your brain. Now, we have that when we can't take action on it, but if you have it when you can actually take action on it, then you're going to see the results faster, because that action is accompanied by this intense delight in having a new idea. So, number two, you can actually start up your sales software faster. So, one woman who we've done this with, helping her get into Kairos time, she sent me this message. She said, I came into the sales call a little anxious because I was thrown off by motherhood, parenting, the everyday chaos. Think about the story I just told about washing dishes, your toddler screaming. And she said, but I listened to the Journey of Remembrance video right before my sales call, and it took my anxiety level down. And that helped me deliver better as the CEO I am. So she already had the identity of someone who is a CEO. She needed the energy to match it so that she could show up and do the actions that the CEO does. Show up for her new client. And she actually closed that sale. So even on your toughest days, when your husband gets a tough health diagnosis, when your grandmother passes away, when your toddler has 27 screaming tantrums in one morning in 15 different locations. By the way, this is all true stories from real people. There's actually a way that you can hop on a sales call at nap time with this complete, calm, confident composure, and you can sell with so much ease. It's like your sales skills just kick in because we've set your brain up for success. So that was number two. Number three is you can actually experience focus like never before. So when you tap into Kairos time, you'll actually experience a level of focus that feels superhuman. As I said before, time is standing still and you effortlessly tackle all of the tasks that once felt overwhelming. Flow state is really created with two components. You need the right level and a slight challenge to that level. So it's like when the challenge level matches your skill level. And that's what Kairos time really does. When you lock into Kairos time, your mind becomes like a laser. You're cutting through distractions. You're zeroing in on what really, really matters. And you can actually experience this enhanced focus in sales calls. Like, imagine someone walks outside with a big lawnmower right outside your office window as you're in a sales call, and they start mowing and weed whacking, but your focus just remains laser focused on selling the payoff, selling what you know your offer can give the person you're talking to. That's what the focus is that I'm talking about. It can be there when you're crafting YouTube video outlines, filming new courses, countless other tasks. For instance, one person that we use this for, she was doing a lot of sales email writing, and she actually cut down her email writing time from 2 hours down to 20 minutes per email and improved its conversion rate. That's what happens when you're in Kairos time. You're in flow and your creativity is flowing along with your brainwaves. So that's why I said it's like biohacking your creative brain. That's really what it is at its core. So that's number 3, enhanced focus. Number 4, you can actually reach the 7, 8, 9 figure level of wealth so much faster. Basically, you're quantum leaping. It's non-linear. You can't even really measure it because remember, Kairos time, we only measure it in moments. So if you have a moment where you're actually doing a 10x leap, that is more valuable than spending 7 hours straight putting paper on shelves in a job that pays you by the hour. That's really what this Kairos time is. And in the 10x Your Creativity Challenge, day 1 is actually all about reaching this final level of wealth creation using your creative brain. So if you've been listening to this and like, Ina, how do I do this? I really want to be able to tap into Kairos time. I want to experience it. Sign up for the challenge, the next 10x Your Creativity Challenge, and you'll be able to experience this in real time and have so many new ideas coming at a consistent basis. Essentially, what will happen is you will no longer have to wait for your creative ideas. You can create when you're ready, when you are ready, and the ideas will flow. So the final thing, number 5, that living in Kairos time will do is will actually make you time. So if you thought that time was the one resource you could never get back, remember what I said earlier. I said we're going to talk about how when you do more in less time, you make more time. And here's how that works. Einstein, with his theory of time relativity, works like this. So Einstein concluded that time is relative, and the rate at which time passes depends on the observer's frame of reference. So this goes into a concept called time dilation. So the faster an object moves, aka you, the faster you're moving, the slower time gets. And the more you can experience in a given amount of time, the more time you have because your time has stretched. There's a quote that I recently read. It's by a guy named Peter Diamandis. And he said, the faster you go, the slower time passes and the longer you live. You know, this is actually what astronauts experience when they're in space. They are moving so fast that they come back younger than what people on Earth are. So people on Earth are aging faster than astronauts in space. And there was actually this set of twins. One of them went up to space for, I think, 9 months, something like that. And when he came back, he looked significantly younger than his twin, or rather his twin looked older than him because of this concept of time dilation. Now, you don't have to go to space to experience this. All you have to do is tap into Kairos time, where you get more done in less time because your creativity is flowing. You're in focus. And that is what the answer is to like cracking the code on time management. We want to make every moment more valuable. And the more we do that, then we can have these 10x jumps. It's about the quality of how time is spent, not the quantity. And for musicians listening to this, think about it like you could practice your instrument for 4 hours without a break, but you can still get more done in just 42 minutes of quality practice than the entire 2-hour block. You are literally getting 10x more time or more done because of the quality. Quality is what matters. And what if you could end each day knowing that the quality of each minute was powerful? The quality of each minute brought you further to your next goal. Brené Brown, she says, if we want to live a wholehearted life, we have to become intentional about cultivating sleep and play and letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol. When you have more time for rest, for productive rest and play and all the beautiful things that you could be doing with your time instead of measuring it minute by minute in Chronos time. You can live a wholehearted life with Kairos time. And that's what you want, isn't it? So that is all for today. I will see you in the next episode. I cannot wait for you to experience this in the 10x Your Creativity Challenge. The link is in the show notes in the description box. So go ahead and sign up for the most creative year of your life. You're not going to want to miss it. Cannot wait to see your registration come through.